we've got a few bits to go through on this week's video update. As you can see behind me, we've got some sand going in some of the new bunkers. Give you an update on how the other bunkers are getting on. We've got how the seeding's going. Harry's been out on the seeder, seeding all those irrigation lines and some of the bigger areas with the tractor. And we've also got the irrigation projects. So out on 9, as you can see, both of these two greenside bunkers have now got sand in. So these have got, I'll go through the process shortly, where Lee's out on 13. But these have basically got 4 inches of sand. So we put 2 inches in, and that is then whacker plated in, obviously to compress down into the fibres of the AstroTurf. And then we put another 2 inches in, which we again whacker plate, and then we rake it. So the idea of this is that it will be smooth around the edge, smooth around the outside, and then the flat bottom bit at the base of the bunker will be raked. So ultimately that flat area at the bottom will be the playing area, and we always want the ball to feed into those low parts of the bunker. Obviously this is, again, it's the China clay sand. So it is a sand that is specifically designed, it doesn't mix with our clay that's the typical substructure around it. So hopefully the longevity of this sand will be far greater than the sand that we've used previously. And if any of you have had a chance to play it, I'm sure you'll agree, it's very good. So Harry's out on the 9th and he's pushing the turf buddy. So this turf buddy is a seeder. Unfortunately, he's got this job, he's got to walk up and down these lines. It's not the easiest thing in the world to push. But as you would have seen, some of these drainage lines have started to grow in. And this is the bit of kit that we're using. So I'll try and give you a bit of a closer look, just as Harry starts off on this run. You can just about see the discs in there. So it basically rolls the surface, then the seed runs down into the discs, and then moves along. There's the seed at the top. Thank you, Harry.
No worries.
So I'm out on the 10th to give you an update on where the bunker contractors are. So all of the bunkers that have been dug out so far have now been lined with AstroTurf. Obviously, again, this is the liner, so this is to stop contamination and to stop the sand mixing with the clay that's underneath the bunker, just to try and keep that sand lasting for as long as possible. So this gives you a good idea of how they edge the bunkers. So as you can see all the way around, this is turf laid face down effectively. So what we do is we then water this, so obviously try and keep the turf healthy, especially at the moment where it's so dry. And then these soil bags that are around the edge of it will roll into the bunker, and that'll sit on top of the turf that is lined out. A little bit further in than those 2 bags are over there. A little bit further in, and then effectively the turf is then wrapped up and over and forms that edge. Obviously we try and make sure that all of these soil bags are wet before we compact them back in and fill the edge back in. But that gives you another idea of how we're edging these bunkers and keeping that grass edge again to stop contamination. So far they have edged both the bunkers on the 2nd. The bunkers on 15 and the fairway bunker on the 1st are nearly ready to go get sand in, but I'll run through that when I go out and show you Lee when he's working out on the 13th. Out on the 3rd, John's tidying up. So at the moment he's at the back of the tee box, tidying up this pile of spoil that obviously we had from the drainage. He will be working down the right hand side, so all the way along the right hand side, out of bounds, so off the course boundary as such. He's going to tidy up those piles of earth that go along there. We're also going to be installing a ditch. Again, it's off the course boundary, so it is out of bounds. Just from an element of security, obviously as you know, we've had some trespassers come in through this woodland, and we get obviously a lot of dogs coming out onto the fairway, so we're going to cut a nice big ditch just to try and prevent as much as we possibly can people coming onto the golf course that we don't want on the golf course. But then this area at the back, just to give you an idea, obviously we've put a soil barrier over the back there again to stop anyone coming on that we don't want on site, and then we're reinstating this tee box. So effectively the black tee box, or it might be the white tee box, but effectively this tee box will stretch out and will go back as far as where the digger is, just to gain a few extra yards and just tidy the place up really. So this will be irrigated and turfed when it's all finished, but again, just in tidy up mode, trying to make the place look pretty again. So we've got Lee and Adam out on the 13th bunker. So this is basically the first layer of sand is now pretty much in. They're just whacker plating the sand in, so again, so it compresses down into the fibres. Got a lovely lady section over there giving us a wave. So once these guys have whacker plated this in and just compressed all that in, they will then be using obviously the sand that's in the dumper, get the last couple of inches in, again whacker plate, and rake it out so it's nice and ready for the weekend. Out on 16 we've got Steve and Perry working on the irrigation, so they're just finishing off the last couple of holes on the ring main. So this is obviously right hand side of the 16th fairway. That line or trench that they've dug and the pipe that they've put in goes out across the ditch and on up to the 15th tee, and will extend round to the 15th green. So obviously we can get fairway irrigation on the 15th, and then this will run out to the edge of the fairway and up to the 16th green, and then back down to the tee box. So we've got the fairway junction boxes all going to go in ready for the fairway irrigation. Obviously first we've got to get the ring main, and the last part of this again goes past the 16th green, covers the 17th, and then down most of the 18th fairway. But they have already done the bottom end of the 18th fairway, which I'll show you shortly. So to finish up, I'm out on 18, and like I said, Steve has finished the fairway irrigation. So we've got the ring main and the junction box down there, and then this runs out to the heads out the fairway. So the plan is over the next few months to try and get the ring main in for the remaining holes, as I just said, and then get as many of these sprinkler heads in so we're ready for next spring. Of course, we'll have fairway irrigation in as many places as possible. Enjoy your weekend and good luck to all those playing in the Hepburn Cup.